Alright here guys, I just want to do a quick walkthrough on the Sonoma you guys have been seeing, and many of you guys have followed me before. Yeah, it's a great little truck. Let's start with that. You can pick them up. I paid $3,200. You can pick them up between $2,000 and $5,000 in decent shape. I chose this truck. I wanted a Sonoma, not the S10 that everyone goes for. Just to be a little different. For example, I wanted the color matched flares instead of having the black like the S10 ZR2s. The Sonoma is classified a highrider model, not a ZR2. They come factory with a 2-inch suspension lift, a wider stance, skid plates over your front, mid, and all that. Your frame is wider. And overall, they're great little trucks. I mean, you come factory with 31 10 515s. I just got a cheap Chinese tire on here for now. It does the job. If you find one that's in decent shape, there's not much to do. I mean, they are very capable as they are, as if you guys go back and watch some of my videos. They got the 4.3 V6. I have the automatic. They do come in standard. If you're lucky enough to find a standard ZR2, then you will have the steel front differential, which is hard to find, versus the cast aluminum like I have. I mean, I'm running around with 300,000 kilometers on this truck and have no issues. I did remove the jack out of the back of my truck. That way I can sleep back there. I would open it up, but unfortunately one of the flaws of these trucks, my third door, my handle broke on it again. $20 fix on Amazon, guys, easy. I grabbed a cheap toolbox off the Facebook Marketplace, and I put all my jack and my recovery gear in there. Take it out when it's not needed. I've towed with this truck. I have hauled stuff with this truck. Just gotta keep in mind, it's a small truck. It's not meant for hauling big loads. I have had table saws in the back. I've had boats in the back. I've towed with my trailer with it. A little travel trailer, utility trailer, things like that. All I've got done to this truck is I changed the grill. I got on Marketplace this Denali style. I put LED headlights in, high beam, low beam, and I converted it so you run your high beam and low beams at the same time when you turn your high beam on, opposed to you turn your high beam on and your low beam going out, it stays on now. I've done that, wired in a CB radio. As you can see it right there. I'll pop the hood here for you guys. I have done nothing else. It's been a good little pickup for me. As you see here, you got the 4.3 V6. It is tight in here, but it is able to do a few things to work on it on your own. I did put a larger aftermarket battery in with the top post mounts. And I got adapters, because GM does have these side mounts. And they are junk for connecting aftermarket wires to. I went on Amazon, got these universal. You have multiple different settings for how many wires you can run. Super easy, cheap, and that way I can hook up my CB through here. I am planning on putting a bumper on this thing with a probably 9,500 pound winch. Not meant to pull out other people, just meant to pull myself out. And with that, I'm going 9,500 because I'm thinking the truck is what its weight is, plus you got resistance of hills, mud, whatever you get yourself stuck in. If you get stuck, you want to be able to pull yourself out without killing your winch, ideally. I mean, this truck for me has done me no wrong. It is a rust-free 21-year-old truck. I did just inquire a rough country 2.5-inch suspension lift. As for the lift kit I'd inquire for the Sonoma S10 non-ZR2, they do work for the ZR2 models, but you do only get 1.5 inches. If you crank the torsion bars, you can get 2 inches in the front. Now, for me, any lift's better than no lift. I need suspension, my shocks are blown out. So I figured, why not spend $500-600 and buy a suspension lift. I lucked out on Facebook Marketplace, found a gentleman on Vancouver Island that bought the lift kit and unfortunately had a tree fall on his truck the next week. The lift kit new is probably about $800. Now for the inside of these trucks, I believe I have more of a base model ZR2. You got your power locks, power windows, power mirrors. Mirrors are also heated in ZR2s. You got it right here. In the Blazers and whatnot, that will be your rear defog. Now, the other thing I like about these trucks, you got your airbag shut off, your four-wheel drive switches here. Unfortunately, four-wheel drives do have an issue where it will stop working. You have everything in these trucks is vacuum actuated. By vacuum actuated, you have a pump, and those pumps, the air actuators, are actually underneath the battery, and they're just a little difficult to get to. You got to pull your battery out and all that. Airlines dry rot, disconnect, all that kind of fun stuff. Right? There is also a option to avoid the four-wheel drive failing, and I'm looking into that myself. It is called Posi Lock. I can get a knockoff version on Amazon. I believe it's $160, and that will be direct drive to your transfer case. It eliminates the vacuum. You pull it out, you're engaged four-wheel drive. You have your selector still in the dash to select what you want to go into, 4 high, 4 low, 2 high, and you also gain 2 low. So that's a good safety option. I want it because it's a fail-safe. It's never going to fail you. And that just mounts underneath your dash. Simple, easy. The install I gotta look into. But again, I'll keep you guys updated and we'll go from there. Yeah, these trucks are super capable. I've gone out with my buddy there with the lifted Yukon, running 35-inch tires. I've gone out with a Ford Ranger, solid axle swapped, 35-inch tires. I've had no issues. Comparing this to my previous build, which was a 02, I believe, Chevy Tracker. I had a 2-inch body, 2-inch suspension. I'll post a picture here in a minute. And the suspension lift I believe to be more of a 3-inch. It was a 4-door automatic 2-liter 4-cylinder. But I put ZR2 V6 coil springs front and rear. And I ran 2021 Tacoma TRD rear shocks. At the time, I was the first one to do that I could find. I was told it wouldn't work, and it was the best ride I've ever had. And it allowed mass amount of articulation in the rear. And it was allowing the vehicle to haul a little more gear for camping, fishing, hunting, whatever you want to use it for. I had to tell that truck, life changed, we need something a bit bigger. So I ended up getting the wife a 2003 Yukon Denali XL. You know, just the cheap things that drive in life, a 6-liter all-wheel drive, 6,000-pound SUV. But hey, she's happy. We got something safe for her to drive, and I'm found my next truck, my next little project here, and it's ended up to be the Sonoma. Like I said, I didn't want an S10. Everyone gets them, you see them out there. For me, the S10 looked a little cheesy. I wanted, personal opinion, I like the color match flares from factory instead of the black plastic. The rear bumpers were also black, whereas I figured, hey, if I can find it, I want to color match it. I was being pickier. I wanted the blue. I knew the color I wanted. I knew how hard this truck was going to be to find. I looked for probably a year and a half. I've had multiple vehicles. I think I'm up to about 65. And I'm happy with this one. I got my first truck, which is a 72 Chevy, 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive. It is blown apart right now. I'm waiting for life to change, and I'm gonna start reassembling that, making it the truck it deserves to be. And I'm here. I got this truck for now to commute and get me off road and live life. And I hope you guys follow and watch the build as we go. I have big plans for this truck. Like I said, I got the small suspension lift to put in it for now. And once that's in, who knows what we'll get up to next. Maybe the bumper will be next up. I might put a body lift in. I don't know. Maybe we'll build a rack. Find a rack, put on, throw the boats on top. I'll get out, go fishing a bit more. It is hard to fish with this truck, being it's only a 6-foot box and I got the toolbox in there. I like to have aluminum boats that are 12 feet long. But hey, you gotta pick and choose your battles. I do have a small trailer I haul around, and we'll see. Well, that's all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.